Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of SaaS Leaders Lounge, and today we're joined by the co-founder of Gytpol, Tal Kollender. How are you doing, Tal?
Thank you so much. I'm great. How are you?
I'm full of energy Monday morning, excited to get going and excited for Black Hat coming around the corner. Tell me about Gytpol and what you guys are doing in the market at the moment.
So Gitpol is trying to solve a very, very, very simple problem that today of the way most of the ways to address it is by manual best efforts. We are trying to address something that is called device misconfiguration. What is a device misconfiguration? Is I would say a mix of a human error, of human errors, of default settings, of things that you are pretty sure that you already closed but they are open, or even things that cannot be patched or cannot be addressed by any other thing. This is what we do, but we are not only another visibility tool, we have the ability to auto-remediate without any business disruption. That is so important because at the end of the day, you really want to know before you go. You really want to understand what is it that you are going to click and what is the potential impact. And in Gitpol, that is why we say zero business disruption remediation for any device misconfiguration. Now, if you just put it on a landscape of misconfiguration, so I'm pretty sure that you know the CSPM, the CWPP, all of those areas where misconfiguration is a star, is a shining star, but we're definitely a complementary solution. So we have the ability to take any device, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, very, very soon, network devices and virtualization such as any VM, cloud on-prem, it doesn't really matter. Any device anywhere, we have the ability to detect all of the misconfigurations, and we have the ability to auto-remediate without any business disruption. That's what we can do on steroids on hundreds of items per each and every operating system. And we also have the ability to harden them according some compliance types, such as CIS, STIG, NIST, etc. That's it.
Amazing. And just if we go back 10 days ago, there was obviously that big news with regards to a lot of infrastructure being affected by, such a simple thing. Do you think if companies were using tools like what Gitpol offer, that they would be able to kind of alleviate these challenges and disruption to the infrastructures of such large organizations globally?
So we did address the issue of CrowdStrike on virtualization environment. But you need to understand that the problem is not something that
Configured.
right now, yeah, can be like, it's not a configuration issue. It's the way they deployed and the way that, if you would ask me, it's not really that it wasn't checked in the QA. I mean, not a chance in the world. I mean, it must be someone internally. Either he was paid or either it was a social engineering, whatever it was. He just managed to bypass the entire checklist and just push the update. Why am I saying it? Because CrowdStrike are mature enough not to have this bug falling in during QA or dev environments, and they cannot just release anything without checking it. And if they were check it, even on Windows, like 10 or Windows Server 2019, or even Windows, I don't know, like Server 2016, they would see it in a minute. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, and again, just understand now the entire cycle of what R&D usually do. And that is why I do think that it was intentionally and it was someone who did something in a malicious way because they had the permissions to do it.
But would you say from a perspective that you're looking at it now, it wouldn't have been a CrowdStrike employee, but it would have been someone that had some sort of access to the system, right?
I say that someone managed to get into one of the employees That's what I believe. And this is how they manage to do it. Either, I don't know, they can pay them anywhere they can. I'm a hacker myself, but again, in those companies, you usually try to find it as pretty much social engineering.
Yes.
And then you find the weakest link, but the weakest link is it's not that happy, it's not that sad, maybe very sad, but you know that you can buy them with money. Not even mentioning the main problem that was after the outage, which was, hey, now it's a reason for hackers to do whatever they want. Let's have a CrowdStrike.exe file that you need to deploy, and then you are fully hacked. So it's so easy now to do things. And then, and again, it became like a very, very, very major cyber event.
I agree. And just a question I always like to ask to founders, especially when there's co-founders, is how important was it for you to have co-founders that had had a successful exit in the past and the experience that they brought? How were you able to kind of bundle these different experiences and skill sets together to kind of create Gytpol?
Yeah, remember that everything is culture, right? So at the beginning, and when I met Gilad with the former startup that I did, and then Gytpol was created on a piece of napkin, and then I just took Gilad at the beginning. He brought Yaakov, and they pretty much taught me everything at the beginning. They told me, Tal, let's do it even more challenging this time. We don't want to take any money. I used to be a hacker. I used to make my own money before I joined the Israeli military service, and then, after the army, I started in a fighter pilot course, and then I joined some special units and computer units, and I had my own money, so I didn't need to work. It wasn't like a must do for me. So I didn't need to go to a VC in order to take money. And when we found that some customers really want to use Gytpol, we started slowly but surely, and then we went with the knowledge of Gilad and Yaakov of how to build an enterprise cookie cutter software. That was something that really, really helped me understanding the fact that how easy it is to scale. And then every single time, remember that we had the bottleneck that we discussed before. Let's say, we had a bottleneck of sales, so we hired sales. Hey, we had a bottleneck of R&D, so we hired R&D. But remember, since we are bootstrapped, since we are profitable, and again, going and getting into the place that Gytpol is 91% gross margin. I mean, this is something that you don't see, even in, companies that are in the stock exchange. You don't see it.
Unique.
I mean, we created something so unique, 40 employees. Exactly. So, and again, it's all about the culture. We hire people, we choose them. Okay, we choose the ones. I mean, I get requests every day. Hey, Tal, and again, it's not that that the people are not good. It's first we have, capacity, and we have like the people that we really need to hire, but also within those people, we really need them to fit our DNA. We really need them to fit our culture, and we really need them to have the right experience that we are looking for. We look for people to hire that are better than us in what they do, right? I cannot hire someone that is not better than us, because what's in it?
I agree. And like you said, it's very unique, especially today, to find companies that are profitable and are not using, invested money as such, but that hugely allows you to keep your DNA and you can keep the message that you want to, share with the market, which is important, I guess, for you and the other guys. And just as we move in towards, since you've been building the business, I guess you've had to adapt and hire teams and people across different landscapes. So maybe not based in Israel and the US. How have you been able to adapt to having, different cultures within, the business, time zones, etc.?
Well, the way Gytpol moves is that one CISO recommend another to buy Gytpol, okay? Like, because they use it, they love it, and then when I started working with some partners or some CISOs, they recommended me actually on people. And then people reached out to us saying that they want to work for us. So we needed at the beginning to hire someone, as you said, from that is not an Israeli. It's a bit tricky because you need to understand the culture. You need to understand, I mean, it's not that straightforward all the time. So yeah, we had some try and errors, right? I mean, we try all the time. So sometimes we hired people that we needed after some time to let them go. And sometimes we just open our eyes to say, hey, this is not what we were looking for. This is not, or maybe someone promised us something that they cannot achieve, or maybe someone like he's told us that he can do this, but he cannot. So yeah, let's say that it is always an iteration of checking, validating, and now we are using agencies in order to help us with the hiring. So, but if we do find someone that's from, like let's say word of mouth, then we take it without thinking twice.
Yeah, that referrals, I guess, not just internally when you're hiring for your team, but as you mentioned, when people are looking at Gytpol, referrals speak volumes, right? If people have used your product or knows what your product can do, another CISO telling, their friend, look, I believe in this product, I know it will solve your problems, is better than them looking at a demo and hearing a promise but not knowing if you can deliver. So that's always important. And I guess some milestones I want to talk about quickly is I know you guys started in November 2027, and by 2028, within 3 months, you had already signed your first customer, and within four or 5 years, I guess you'd onboarded your 100th customer, which for a lot of startups takes quite a bit more time than that. So for you, how was it when you were able to hit that milestone of 100th customer and knowing that you're kind of moving in the right direction?
So again, the measurements of Gytpol is not the same measurements as a VC company. Okay, so and that is so important to understand because I open my eyes every single time when someone that is a VC fund, like is a VC, like is obviously has investments and he comes and asks me questions and then why are you doing this? I mean, go this, go that. I mean, invest your money not only in R&D, but go have some customers, paying customers. And when you see the differences, like, hey, it's not all about writing like a beautiful product, but at the end of the day, if no one uses it, why doing it? I like check the market, understand first, and like having the ability of what we achieved in that one CISO is telling another the referral of how the word of mouth went so smoothly from actually to buy Gytpol. Now we use also marketing on top of it, but when we reached the first 100 customers, so we started only in Israel, and Israel is a small industry, so it moves very quickly. The industry is very small. Everyone talks to each other. Lots of WhatsApp groups, emails, or Facebook, or channels, other channels. And then it started also when Dan Wiley is an ex Checkpoint. He was a Checkpoint, I believe, like 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. He came to the CPX, one of the conferences just before COVID, and he said, oh my God, what you're doing right now, Gytpol, is that you are sitting on a golden egg. And I was like, okay, how can you help me? And then he said, I run the IR team for Checkpoint. Let me see. So many people get hacked because of of the things that you can address automatically and not us sitting manually after an incident. So he helped us, opening us the market. And again, we didn't feel like, wow, we reached the 100 customer milestone. It's not that. We felt like, okay, now we have more money in the bank. Let's hire more people. And then, we have this, or we understand how to crack the method of sell. Let's sell more to this vertical, to that vertical. Let's move to the US. Let's move to North America, UK. So we were still focused and lean all the time, thinking lean, and then moving slowly but surely to the places where we can do land and expand, or obviously to the verticals when we can start and take it one step further. So it's not about the 100 customer, but it's more about to understand how we crack the formula of how to sell and how to sell in scale and how to sell to specific vertical or verticals. And this is what we do until these days, which we are more than 300 customers.
Wow, over 300 already. And I guess if we look at, incidents as a number, over 1,200, 2,200 or more ransomware attacks every year, accounting for, I would say, 1 in 3, or even more than that, of attacks. How is the Gytpol solution able to kind of reduce the attack surface across any connected or all connected assets for their customers?
So people need to understand that it's, I would say, like, let's call it like two-phase answer. The first phase is that if you think about it, most of the ransomware attacks that Gytpol is managed to stop is not by stopping it from entering the device or entering whatever, but we are able to stop it moving laterally and make a collateral, like damage or something that is way more severe. We have the ability to see that what the entire industry can't see is the misconfiguration that attacker is abusing, either in real time or potential can abuse, okay? And this is what we can stop. And believe it or not, most of the things that people attack all the time, I can tell you, like, things that are from 20 years ago. SMBV1, TLS version 1, in a way, and other I will speak about 0 days in a few minutes, but local administrator, those things like SMBV1 cannot be patched. Not TLSV1, not local admin, they cannot be patched. It's a configuration change. And if you want to patch SMBV1, you need to disable it. But how can you disable it today? You have so many operating systems with SMBV1 enabled. You have different way to do it. But you don't want to do it because you don't know what's the impact. And if you're going to attack, or if you're going to actually to cause some damage, when you are going to disable SMBV1 because you didn't know that it is in use. So in Gytpol, we have the ability to tell you whether the SMBV1 client or server, whatever it is, like if it is active, if it is in use, and by whom. And then we tell you, hey, this is what you need to do on those things. Please remediate them immediately in order to shrink the attack surface. And we already stopped in many places lateral movement attacks, abusing the print nightmare, the SMBs, the SSH. And about the 0 days, we didn't want to be like a 0-day prevention tool or proactive tool, but the industry saw how fast we release updates that they reached out to us when the Log4j came. Gytpol, please help us. And then we said, but we are not doing Log4j. And then listen, we cannot update, we cannot do this, we have obsolete software, we have unsupported versions, and the 0 days here, please, and within actually, like, I would say between 48 to 72 hours, we managed to have a stable release that have the remediation. Remember that in Gytpol, we want to make sure that there is zero impact remediation, but we also, at this point, we added another feature within the entire system that is called the revert. So for everything that you do, you can even undo. And that is something that gives another level of confidence for a customer to trust Gytpol. So not only that they see wasn't even in use or quick win, as we call, like no business disruption, you can even undo the changes. So those things made us as, I would say, like, number one, fun. Like, even what happened with CrowdStrike, even with the regression the week before of the Linux devices with the SSH. And those are things that we so focused on. When customers need us, we are there for them. Number one, we don't want to let them down.
And I guess that's some of your skill and your mindset rubbing off within the company, because I know from your early days as a hacker, even, you always had a thing about solving problems that people didn't think was possible. So to be able to for customers to come to you with a problem and within, a few days to be able to come up with a solution that can be rolled out is, I think, mind blowing, really, and a testament to the company mindset.
Thank you so much. And this is the culture that we bring to our employees. They will think like an attacker themselves. They will know the problem. They will see everything before other people see or before we get the first phone call or email. So they will know automatically what is it that they need to address. We don't want to keep everything in here in my mind. We want definitely that's part of my mission, to make sure that all of our employees are definitely there and they know the level of maturity, but also the think out of the box that I am asking all the time.
I agree. And I spoke to a friend of mine who knows quite a bit about the company and the products, and something that he spoke about, well, we spoke about, which was the word continuous, and how important it is that your solution is continuously kind of inspecting and remediating problems. So I know Gytpol has, within their solution, the ability to continuously inspect and validate policies and enforce those through best practices. Is there any specific tooling that you've embedded in the software to be able to do so, or was it something that you wanted to kind of make sure was possible from when you started to release the newest versions?
So it was our approach from our first time, from our first day, like to do like a proactive remediation all the time to make sure that it is continuously scanning, continuously remediating, because at the end of the day, think about a scenario, okay? Like think about your firewall. What happened if you allow only once, like some rule that needs to protect you against something? But that's it. Because they need it only once to. I mean, they won't use it anymore. Okay, like it's like what people used to think. Yeah, let's disable it once, or let's close something once, and it won't be repeatable. But who knows what attackers can do, what inside threat can do, because they know your system better than you. And at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you know better than them and better than everyone, and your and we even detect in our system what happens if someone is creating out of a sudden so many rules, or stop so many things, or making something that does not make any sense inside Gytpol. Like it is not the behavior of the user. So what happened that out of a sudden this behavior becomes like something that's the new normal? No. We understand that someone is trying to play against us, to play against Gytpol, and is trying to make some rules that do not make any sense. So we made layer of protections in order to identify who is the real user, but also we want to make sure that if a device is protected, we want to continue hardening the device without doing only one time. So that's our approach.
Thanks for sharing that, Tal. And if I could ask you, what is some of the biggest misconceptions about what Gytpol is doing or helping its customers to achieve within the market?
Yeah, so it's a good question. One of the things that I would say is that at the beginning we didn't have, any awareness about device misconfig. Now, when you have the awareness of the misconfiguration in the cloud, then you understand more misconfiguration on your devices. But even more than that, you want to make sure that that your device misconfig, no one will think it is, I have whatever, Qualys or Rapid7 or vulnerability to take care of it, right? Or I have, for example, I have Tanium. I can do it with Tanium. So the simple answer is no, you can't. And then we always try to put some, I would say, to tell them, hey, Tanium is here. This is great. Like we're SSCM or Intune, and this is vulnerability, which is great. Let's say if Gytpol is in the middle, they have a little bit of, something that you can do in Gytpol, and also vulnerability. They do have something to do with Gytpol, but again, most of the solutions today can tell you what is wrong. Some of them will tell you, this is I would say something that we do see as a problem or not. But some of them will recommend you how to remediate. and no one but Gytpol will be able to remediate it for the system, to remediate it without any business disruption, and obviously to make sure that things are smoothly remediated end to end. So this is what we are trying to say here. We are not a vulnerability. We are not a Tenium Intune solutions like MDM or like we have our own mechanism for device misconfiguration. Right now, we started also with Gartner, so it will take some time, but Gartner already saw how unique Gytpol is, so they are here even to help us, and they understand our value, which is great. We don't need to convince them what is our value because they already see it. So that's I'm pretty impressed. I mean, today we see less and less people ask if we are a vulnerability or if we are a pen test or if we are the next Tenium. People understand what we do and people see our power.
Great. And I guess, as you said, it's nice for the market to see a sharpened message from you guys and to kind of define a market space for what you guys are doing, not just, trying to pull you into mobile device management, etc. And I guess with approximately 40% of successful attacks going undetected by EDR solutions, usually being exploited by some sort of OS security gap and a misconfiguration. How, in your own words, how are operations and OS security gaps created, and what safeguards are Gytpol implementing to help to reduce those misconfigurations? Because they happen, right? They're going to keep happening.
Correct, and this is why we keep adding more and more to our database or CMDB of misconfigurations. And this is where the attack surface is always getting bigger because people keep adding first more exposure, right? Like cloud, like more services in the cloud, more everything. And then you keep having more tools and sometimes you don't use them properly. And EDR is important, actually is essential, right? But yet, as you said, ransomware attacks cannot be detected and prevented by an EDR only. So in Gytpol, it's not that the people don't understand the problem, they understand. And yet today, most of the ways that they use today is manual best efforts, automation, semi-automation, etc. And they don't get the same results in the same speed as they do with Gytpol. This is why to have the clearance, clarification, and also the speed and the results within everything correlated into a single UI and within an hour, every remediation that you want to do is done. This is something that is very unique to us, like to understand everything and to make sure that you are definitely aligned. So first, you know what you have. Second, you can deal with it. Oh, and it's like a Zoom, so it's second, you can deal with it. And third, you can definitely see how easy it is that everything is correlated for you, and you can take some actions from there. So that's pretty much how we add another layer on top of the current protection tools.
Thanks for sharing that. And I guess as we discussed earlier in the podcast, when founders come into building their own business, I guess they don't have an idea of, okay, we're going to be a must-have solution, but they want to solve a problem, and solving that problem to them is the first step. Now, as we know, when I talk to so many security professionals in the space, they always look at solutions almost like, is this a must-have or is this a add-on, a nice-to-have? And everyone wants to be in a position where their product is a must-have. And now Gytpol are in that position. How does it make you feel knowing that, the product goes to the market and you're not just an add-on to, a CrowdStrike or say an anomaly threat intelligence solution, but you are a standalone solution that's a must for many enterprise customers?
So remember when we said that we are bootstrap or like bootstrap, we didn't take any money. And this is really important. This is really important because in Gytpol, one of our most important thing is the customers. And when they tell us something, and when we see how the good rumor goes about Gytpol, spread it all over, and that people come, reach out to us asking to do whatever, we have the ability to tell them, guys, we know that this is it. And if something is missing from let's say if customer comes and say, hey, in order Gytpol to be like a must-have in our organization, you need to do ABC, and if it makes sense with the rest of the market, then we add it, and then we add the gap or the whatever that is needed in order to become the must-have. We always listen to our customers, whatever they think, whatever they want, and then we take a correlation between all of them. We understand what is really critical, what is nice to have between what they said, and then we prioritize with the R&D what we should do, what we should and should not, and when.
And you must agree that research and development is critical to keep investing in that, right? To make sure that your product doesn't get outdated and falls behind. And just something I have to ask, Tal, I asked to all of the guests is, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned along your journey as a co-founder?
Wow. To be prepared for every scenario. This is something that is maybe easy to say, but hard to do. And one of the things that I see is that, and maybe I'll give you another thing that I've learned, is, so let's go back first to be prepared. Be prepared, it means like out of a sudden you get like the opportunity to go and to win some special prize that will give you like to do whatever, but then you need to understand what is the outcome. Out of a sudden you get a big opportunity, like a very big customer, that you need to understand if you are going to make a decision to make more time and effort on the R&D or not. Out of a sudden, sometimes someone is telling you, hey, you want to take an investment or you want to continue as you are. And another thing that I've learned is how to become a leader and not to become a boss or someone else's manager. And it brings me back to who you need to hire, what is the culture of the company that you should not ruin. Keep doing what you are doing. Listen, always listen. Talk to them. Understand what is it that you need to improve. Understand, again, you can listen to everyone, but at the end of the day, you are with yourself and you need to understand what is critical for your company to succeed and to grow and what is less important. And the last thing that I would say, that one of the things that I believe that any founder will learn is there are certain people for certain time. When you hire people, not all of them will tell you, hey, I'm with you, let's say, for example, from day 0 to IPO. Not all of them are capable of doing it. Some people are just good, to bring the company for the 10 million ARR, the 100 million ARR. So you cannot be with all of them all the time. So you will need to sacrifice sometimes. You need to say bye-bye, on some points. And it's vice versa, because sometimes you won't be able to hire someone that, let's say, bought some organization from 1 billion to 2 billion. You cannot bring them if you are having only 20 million, okay, of ARR. So it's vice versa. Sometimes you need to make tough decisions. You need to understand. So I would say, like, maybe take what I said as things that I've learned personally. And every single day I learn new things, but these are the most major ones.
Well, thanks, Tal, for those three lessons. They're all, equally important in different ways. And as we come towards the end of our podcast, I just want to ask a few quick fire questions for the audience to get to know your likes. One of them is, what's your preferred activity to relax? So after a busy week, what do you do to relax and recharge?
I go to the gym. This is my relaxation. Sometimes I read books. I love to read the physical books. I don't like I usually read it before, like bedtime. Um, but gym is the way that I enjoy the most right after I think about work and I work all the time like 24/7, right? But sometimes I need a 1 hour off at the gym.
Definitely. And if you've got the discipline to make it to the gym after a very long day, then my hat goes off to you. And the next question I have is, in terms of books, you said you like to read books. Is there a type of book you like? Are you into dramas, thrillers, educational books?
I'm trying to, since I'm so like in my head, my mind is, like 24/7 thinking. I mean, like digesting, processing. It's very hard for me to take like some, I don't know, like whether it is historical or whether it is, I mean, like something that is so, um, like on, I sometimes read like books that were on historical occasions or something that happened in the past, but most of the things that I love reading is stories that are kind of like investigation that were in the past, some kind like they happened in the past, but not really. Like they did a twist in order to be more, I would say, to be like a huge storytelling, or like a huge, like to make it like as a book. Or there are some details that they cannot obviously provide or expose, but these are the stories that I love to hear, whether to read, whether they are like ex Mossad or CIA or special forces or whatever it is. So this is, or even like some kind of ex investigations of whatever it was. It's really, I find it really really nice, and like to read like I don't know, like a few chapters each night, and go to sleep.
I agree. I don't do nearly as much reading as I should myself. But just in terms of my last question is, who is a role model or idol of yours, Tal?
um well, I know it's the last question, but let me just make it a bit more interesting if you are good with it. So
Yeah.
uh, I want to say that my family as well are part of I mean, everything that I am today is like they, my mom, my dad, and my brother, and one of the things um that I admire is to see those families, uh, even these days, in Israel during hard times, the families of the people that are kidnapped, they come and fight, and they don't play miserable all the time. And even especially the families that I know that their children or their other family members are died or murdered, sorry, um, they they want their voice to be heard. They want to have a good effect, and they want to impact in a good way where we live and what we do, because they want to help anyone else. And those people that they have so much of power, like power.
Strength,
I mean, like inside me, yeah, and strength, exactly. This is what gives me motivation to wake up. I'm so patriot, and every morning and to say, I mean, we need to fight also for them. We need to fight. I want to say something very, I don't like, I'm not a hippie, but peace, peace, peace. I know that it's very, to say it's not really realistic, in the world, but to make sure that, people do not need to suffer. People do not need to lose their relatives. Obviously not like that, right? It's when nature happens, but not in war, and not to kill
Surely.
people that are, yeah. So those people that go out and say what they think, and say, and want, and also do, not only say, but also do things for the community, for other families. This is someone that, those are the people that I admire. The people that they suffer so much, but they want to overcome. They want to show everyone, hey, this is what I've learned. This is how I want to have my impact on the world right now. So yeah, this is, I would say, I wanted to take it to the, not only to say, yeah, family, yeah, I don't like to say like some people that everyone knows. I wanted to speak on behalf of the people that
All
maybe
of the
speak, but
people.
they are not heard enough. So if I can say, yeah, so.
Thanks, Tal, for getting that out there. And I agree, all of those people that are affected, to help them to have a voice is great, and for them to be heard. But I'm just going to now ask you a question from our previous guest, who's a co-founder of a cybersecurity company also in Israel. His question is, who is your inspiration for building the company?
My company is all of the people that told me that I would never succeed. Those are my people that told me that I'm not good enough, that it won't happen, that the product is not won't be good as I want, and no one will buy it. So yeah, those are the people, and I thank them. Thank you for I don't know, like for being there for me, and telling me that I'm not good enough, and whatever I think of is not good enough, and yeah, at the end of the day, it helped me. So that's why, yeah, I need to thank them at the end of the day. That's okay to have like people that do not believe in what you do.
But it only served as motivation to keep you going, and you and the company proved them wrong. You are still going, you are solving people's problems, and you are continuing to break new ground. So congratulations to you and the entire team. Just before I let you go, I would like to ask you to share a question for our next guest, and share any upcoming news or announcements that you have with Black Hat around the corner, of course.
Sure. So let me start with the question for the next founder. So the question is that what happened? What would happen if you hire someone that you love so much, and he told you from day one that he wants to report to you, but then time comes and you are way more mature, and this someone cannot really report to you, and you need either to have a manager in the middle, you need to have someone that is very, very senior and with experience to manage him. Will you do it? Will you? What is it actually? What is it that you will do? That's my question to the next founder, and I really hope that he will. That I actually I want to hear the answer. And about Black Hat. So guys, it's going to be amazing. We are going to have shared events. We are going to some partnerships with big organizations, Tech Alliance and Cloud Alliance. You will hear many good things about AWS and Google in terms of the Cloud Alliance. We are going to do some very nice things with more Tech Alliance that will be announced at Black Hat. And so many surprises are about to come. Anything from what we promised as the hardening of the misconfiguration, the hardening of the compliance, sorry, and then moving to the policy validation in the cloud, going to the all the way to having the same solution that you see right now in the cloud to fully implement it in the on-prem for the customers that cannot have internet access. Stay tuned because so many things are going to announce from the network misconfiguration until the ESX and everything that might prevent the next unfortunately security vendor or any attack like that.
Wow, exciting times. Well, I'm excited to see the announcements come out at Black Hat and at the events. Hopefully, we get to meet in person as well. And for everyone attending, please be sure to stop by Gytpol, check out what they're doing, and there's going to be more than enough representatives there for you to talk with and learn more about them. But Tal, again, thank you for joining me and SaaS Leaders Lounge today. It's been a pleasure having you, and I wish you a great and safe trip to Black Hat.
Thank you so much. We'll meet you there. Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much for having me.
Thanks,
It's been a
everyone.
pleasure.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you do like, please keep subscribing and checking out our latest episodes. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.